Let's look at the kind of results you can expect from outsourcing your print-on-demand design ideas to Fiverr. This is some of the actual artwork that I got. I'll show you the rest as I talk through why I chose each artist so you can understand my thought process, and I'll also give you some useful tips to apply to your own concept so you get the best work possible. If you didn't see my previous video about how I made $11,000 profit from one Fiverr order, go watch that first so you understand more about the website. I got the design ideas for this video from people in the Passive Owls Facebook group. The first one was from Rachel, who suggested a cute bat eating sushi. He can be sitting at a table or possibly just holding chopsticks and a tray of sushi. The artist can choose the parameters. I gave Rachel's idea to valiantgraphic, and this is what he came up with as a concept for $5. He was kind enough to complete the design with full colour and shading, and this is what it looks like on a mock-up. Although the artwork is excellent, I thought to myself that a cutesy kawaii type style would be more attractive to customers, so I asked him if he would do a second one and sent him some additional reference files of the sort of thing that I was thinking of. These are the two images that I showed him. The point being that a visual makes it a lot easier for the artist to see what you've got in mind. This is when he came up with the design that you've seen on the thumbnail. Again, it was a $5 concept, but he was kind enough to complete the design again, so you can see what it looks like as a finished product with a mock-up too. The full colour completed designs from Valiant cost more depending on the level of detail required. I chose him as the artist for this project because it's clear from his profile that he's a talented guy, and all the customers in the review section were satisfied with his work. He also offers unlimited revisions for your concept so you can make sure you're happy with the work. Given that the description of the cute bat was open to interpretation, I didn't want to take advantage of the unlimited revisions too much. I was pleased with the artwork, but whether the concept will be popular or not is for Rachel to find out. The next idea was from Benjamin in the Facebook group, who suggested a headless horseman who's holding his pumpkin head. Again, there's a million ways that an artist could interpret this, and I'd usually suggest being more specific as well as providing references, because the artist won't know whether you want something scary or cute or funny or whatever. But that's exactly why I chose this as an example, to show the kind of variation that you get. Each artist has their own style and interpretation of the exact same request, which is why I sent the same instructions to two artists to compare the results. This is what 𝗧-𝗦𝗦𝗡𝗧 came up with for only $5, which is also really good. I chose 𝗧 because he has excellent reviews and a style which is marketable in my opinion. 𝗧 kindly offered to complete the design in full colour, which looks amazing and would usually cost an extra $5. I imagined this style of artwork becoming popular on a platform like Redbubble, since it lends itself well to sticker sales, which would then increase your overall relevancy for all products. Now, to compare the styles, I found a different artist, a guy called carloclemente, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, and gave him the same brief about the Headless Horseman, literally word for word copied. He came up with this artwork for only $5. He stated that this is just an initial sketch and he would tidy it up and offer a full colour version for extra. I was really impressed with the result. You'll notice that on Fiverr, many artists will charge $5 for, quote, a simple sketch or a concept, which are often excellent pieces of work as they are for print on demand. These simple styles are actually quite popular, and there's plenty of examples of bestsellers on Redbubble, Merch by Amazon, and similar print on demand sites that fit this category. But it is worth investing in the full colour artwork if it's appropriate for your concept, because it can make your design stand out against the competition in the thumbnails. Last but not least, we have Alicia from the Facebook group, who suggested a black and orange dragon holding a skull as if he was performing the Hamlet monologue. I chose this suggestion because of the cultural reference. I know exactly what Alicia means by performing the Hamlet monologue because I'm a native English speaker, but I wasn't sure the artists on Fiverr would. Cultural references, idioms and metaphors don't necessarily translate well, so bear that in mind if you're choosing an artist who isn't a native speaker. Even for works of Shakespeare which have been translated the world over, your specification can easily get lost in translation, even with fluent speakers. Be clear and specific about what you want. For the purposes of the experiment, I left the brief exactly as it was. If I was asking for this type of design myself, I'd send a photo example of what I meant. I chose 𝗧-𝗦𝗦𝗛𝗧1717 on Fiverr, and this is what he came up with. Another amazing piece of artwork for only $5. Although his gig description stated that he'd only do a simple black and white illustration, he gave me a full colour result for whatever reason. He's relatively new to Fiverr, so maybe he wanted to build up his positive reviews, or he was just feeling generous that day. I chose him because his artwork and recent deliveries look consistently impressive. I had no idea if this was the kind of dragon that Alicia was looking for, since dragons can appear in many different forms, so it would be useful to specify and provide a reference image if you were doing this for real. Now you've seen the results, I'd like to give you some further advice for working with artists. First of all, and most importantly in my opinion, respect the artist that you're working with. Remember, they're a person at the other side of the screen just like you, and they're trying to make a living. Think about how you'd feel if someone was demanding or rude to you. You wouldn't want to go above and beyond for them, would you? The reality is you're more likely to get good artwork and have an ongoing relationship if you're kind and respectful towards the people that you work with. I appreciate that we're all just trying to make some money, but every interaction is an opportunity to create the world that we want to live in, so why not be nice to each other? Make sure that the artist can cater to your specification, especially if you're working with someone who doesn't normally do design for print on demand. Most of the artists that work with print-on-demand sellers regularly know how to export their work, but if you've got someone who isn't used to it, then you'll need to be clear about what format and size you want, as well as making sure that they save the file with transparency. Also, make sure that you check on their gig page that they offer commercial use for their work. Most of the time they do, but if it isn't mentioned, ask them if it's okay before purchasing. It'll save you getting into trouble with copyright claims later on. Next, this sounds really obvious, but people get carried away spending money on artwork that there isn't demand for because suddenly they've got the resources to come up with intricate ideas. I'm sure these artists can make pretty much any idea look impressive, but is there a market for it? Will anyone actually want it? Make sure that there's demand for an idea before commissioning it. When it comes to choosing an artist, do your research. There's literally thousands of sellers available and many will promise you the world without being able to deliver it. Do the research and make sure that you choose someone who can meet your expectations. Many sellers on Fiverr know that print-on-demand commissions are popular and therefore you'll see a lot of gigs on there from people who aren't necessarily competent. Especially look out for those who are offering text-based designs or using design elements that are freely available online. This is something that you'll pick up on after looking around on the site for a while. You want someone who can create something unique for you and whose recent deliveries look similar to what they promise. As I've said, when you're speaking to an artist, be clear about what you want. Provide a visual example of the style that you're looking for. You can find samples of similar work online or draw a quick sketch yourself, even if it looks terrible. Explain what you want in plain English without cultural references or metaphors. Follow this advice and I'm sure you'll get some great work that leaves everyone happy. And remember, $5 isn't a lot of money, so keep your expectations realistic. Since I was on Fiverr already, I decided to outsource the thumbnail for this video. So if you clicked because it looked enticing, thank you Fiverr artist who did that. I also treated myself to a banner for this channel, since I achieved 20,000 subs recently and I thought the result was pretty nice. The only change I made to it was increasing the saturation in Photoshop to make it pop a little bit more. Very snazzy. And it also leads me into my next tip for you, which is if you're ever concerned about an artist not creating something entirely themselves, you can select or crop a part of the design that you want to check and run it through a Google image search or a website like TinEye reverse image search. It will analyse the image and bring up a list of results where it's used elsewhere on the internet. This is what happened with the elements in my YouTube banner. It's fine for an artist to use design elements that they didn't create as long as you were expecting that, and those elements are free to use for whatever purpose you want, like they were in this case. I just want to say thank you to the artists featured in this video, especially those who went above and beyond what was expected. You'll find a link to Fiverr in the description so you can find these people as well as thousands of other artists. As I've said before, you don't have to use Fiverr, you can use whatever website you want. There's plenty more just like it and I'll be talking more about other methods of outsourcing soon. You can even commission the artist directly. Let me know which artwork you like best in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.